And when you even call the Director of Public Affairs, who is very senior, he will say, relax, let me ask the National Commissioner. We know about the issue of bureaucracy and, the different steps, but INEC needs to keep releasing information as soon as possible. It's trying to centralize so that there's no conflicting information coming from different sources.
Shola, good morning once again. Good morning, dear listener. It baffles some of us how INEC behaves as if we're not in the 21st century. We have a Nigerian that helped to develop the software, Emegwale. Emegwale is still very fresh in our minds that he helped software to create the software, this thing. And we have so many Nigerians that are doing well in the ICT industry and creating apps and what have you. And INEC will tell us this day and age, communication is not swift. We have WhatsApp groups, you have emails. You would have communicated with these recs to tell them, hold on until, I said it here yesterday. I said we expect INEC to react, but it to be after the appeal court ruling. And that's exactly what they did. So, and we expected them to have communicated with their branches, with their state council to say, oh, please hold on these materials. We anticipate a rescheduling of this process. That is what we call communication. Communication is key.
I think everybody in INEC knew.
Yeah, but how come?
Everybody in INEC knew that the election.
I saw that report by Abibaje.
Because they knew they needed more days. Everybody knew they needed more days in INEC. They knew they needed more days. They didn't even need to even wait for the ruling of the tribunal, to make that decision. Again, don't forget the president, Muhammadu Buhari, is caught up in Daura. He went there hoping that by Saturday there were elections. He will vote. He flew in directly from Doha into Katsina, went to Daura, hoping that elections, and just like him, students that their schools are supposed to have reopened, and people who have weddings on the 18th, several things, caught up.
Now, talking points in that statement by INEC, they say the commission is not against any litigation to inspect these materials, and they are giving assurances they are going to store in cloud, and the IRF people can apply to check the IRF. And as Tebe said, a lot of questions are still begging for answers. A lot of clarification is still needed. This cloud thing that you say you are going to save these materials, and are you sure everything will be saved there? Are you sure everything has been? I don't know. I've not been able to check if everything has been uploaded into the IRF.
You want to check?
Because the last time we checked, we said about it was how many percent?
You mean the number of
the results that have been uploaded?
Okay, well, I didn't go back to the result because some of us, our minds are already on what's going to happen in the governorship. But let's take ourselves back to that particular ruling because you're reading that INEC statement. Everything fell in INEC's lap, and then everything is also favorable for all those who are litigants in this case. They will have the opportunity to inspect those machines, do the forensics, and all of you glean all the data and information they need, to fight their petitions. INEC also has the time to say, look, we're not going to touch this thing. So back to the issue of INEC having these number of days, which has made them to postpone this election. Even when you were talking about those who are affected, we in Dark Communications, we're also deploying. Two of our colleagues are already in various parts.
Sokoto and others.
Yeah, that we have landed. So the implication, logistics, not just INEC, all of us are going to incur expenses.
But political parties.
Everybody.
Yes, but Shola, I will still maintain my position from yesterday, from day before yesterday, the day after before yesterday, that INEC didn't come out clean to tell us that this is what's going to happen to Beavers after the presidential election. If not, the civil society and the media would have interrogated these issues prior to the election. If INEC had told us beforehand that these Beavers will be cleaned or will be reconfigured for the governorship election, Nigerians would have said, oh, federal government, give them more money to have a separate Beavers for
Why would they
presidential.
make procurement?
No. See, let's face this. If INEC had told us this issue, that we are going to reconfigure Beavers for the next election. TV. For the next election, Nigerians would have made case for them to say, okay, let them get more money. Because definitely they expect. Okay, why did they print double of the paper, ballot papers? 98 million. How many did they print? They print double. They were anticipating a rerun. So if they anticipated the rerun by printing twice the ballot papers, why didn't they anticipate that people will go to court and they will need to reconfigure this? And they are coming now in the statement saying that the ruling came too late. Well, what were they expecting? people, the lawyers have to prepare, the sons have to prepare, before going to court, and the presidential candidate have to prepare their legal team, and so it will take like 1 or 2, 3 hours, 72 hours. So why are they saying that the ruling is coming too late? So that lacuna is there. They didn't tell us.
Does INEC need to tell us that we will reconfigure our bid? These are logistics issues, which I believe. No, this is just my humble opinion. INEC knows, just like saying INEC knows it needs to deploy to so and so. There are things that are basic for them in their own logistics and in their operations. So it's just a case of us, the issues raised from the the litigants, those who were declared losers in that election. That's what has thrown up all these things that all of us are interrogating. But the fact remains that probably we in the media should also continue with the advocacy. We could even begin to ask, look, space these elections, far and wide apart. Maybe they will have given...
Or hold all the elections in one day.
In one day. Exactly. These are things we need to keep...
If you hold all the elections in one day, you're going to have
it's chaos. We just have like 5 ballot papers.
On printing. Even this small one that you had 3 elections in one day, state, Senate, House of Rep, and presidential. Some people are still having wrong on printing. Because that is why you have in some states, Labour Party just won from top to bottom. Because some people just go there, I don't want to stress myself, that's why you saw Teve's governor lost, because they went they just stopped APC, and that is what happened.
No.
It will be too cumbersome for some persons.
You can't tell us that those voters didn't know what they were doing. Like I keep saying, there are different factors that drive elections in different constituencies, as it were.
Correct.
In Benue State, for instance, is a governor that had not paid salaries. Even in December he did not pay. So you can't expect that the workers will be happy. You can't expect that people will be happy. And I can tell you for free that PDP lost elections massively in Benue State because of the non-payment of salaries. If you go on the streets, everybody is practically saying the same thing. So it's not that they didn't know what to do. They just went and started to print. Maybe if you go there, that's what you do. But I'm not sure every other voter or Nigerian was doing that. And perhaps you also will make it, like you were saying, you make a case for INEC to have more BVAS machines. As a person, I will not. If we already have over 170,000.
Actually came to the fore yesterday that they had over 200,000.
Definitely, they will have extra. So it means we would have been thinking about 400,000. Do you know who will eventually have these BVAS machines? At some point, even the card reader, don't forget, there were some persons that were not supposed to have it. So I think it's tidy enough in the way and manner, that INEC has, handled the issue of the BVAS. And it was a given that the reconfiguration was going to happen. Exactly. Perhaps you didn't pay attention, or some persons did not pay attention, but some of us knew that they were definitely going to reconfigure. It's simple. And in such a way, if you go and pick any of those, BVAS machines now, you can't vote with it.
Yeah.
They have to reconfigure and fix into the date of the election.
The time frame for
even the time for the election, they will indicate 8:30, so that before 8:30 you cannot vote. And it will indicate that after 24 hours you cannot use that device for anything.
Yes, you must have heard, but I'm saying most people didn't know that it would take 5 days to reconfigure. So it wasn't interrogated properly. If it was interrogated, there would have been a push for Teve's wish for election to be postponed.
That's why I'm pointing.
The election is postponed. Governorship and state house assembly election is postponed now. I think one of your dreams before the presidential election has been met. But what we are saying that this issue was not thoroughly interrogated.
That's what I'm saying.
INEC must have learned his lessons.
When you speak about interrogation, we are also culpable.
He is culpable because some of us knew. I told you
reconfiguration never come. I never heard us discussing.
No, that's what I'm saying. That we're hitting it hard, but we can be saying all of us too who are journalists should have been asking the right questions. So it's like we're pointing this direction, but all our fingers are pointing in that direction. Just this piece of news before we go to the mails. The elections, people have been preparing and all of that, and this one has come in. That the 9th Brigade of the Nigerian Army, which is headquartered in Lagos, Ikeja Military Cantonment to be precise, that they arrested a couple of gentlemen. And what did they find with them? They found with them over 1,600 permanent voter cards and ballot papers in an apartment in Olodiapapa, alongside some wraps of narcotics. And the brigade commander there, General Isan Akpan Umontia, who paraded these suspects, said that they were picked up following a tip-off. So we can see that people were preparing for the election. either preparing in a negative way or preparing legitimately to vote. So Nigerians at this point now, they have another 10 extra days, if I do my math correctly, to go prepare themselves so that they can vote in whoever they want to be governor. They can vote in whoever they want to be a member of the House of Representatives. This period gives us an opportunity.
House of Assembly.
I don't know why I'm talking about the reps again. Maybe because some of them collected their certificate of return yesterday. So let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll brainstorm a little more on all of these issues.
Hurry up.
Clement!